He's back. Yay, Wayne.
There
What
goes-
a great set of music you did for us.
Thank you very much. You're very kind.
You know you're good. Come on now. And I'm very proud of you from where you've come to where you are now. I mean, really, a lot of songwriting going on.
Oh, yeah.
Does that have anything to do with retiring from the corporate world?
Well, some of it does. Some of
Yeah.
it does. I can spend a little more time on that now. But you know, I was leaning that way anyway, and as you know, I had a little health scare just almost 2 years ago. Basically, my heart kind of turned on me and tried to kill me. And
That's one way to put it.
well, that's kind of the way the doctor put it. So,
Yeah.
but eventually, you know, they got everything in order, and I'm medicated like crazy now. But, you know, the thing is, I can't eat breakfast first thing in the morning because I take so many pills. I'm full.
Oh, wow.
Well, not 10 pills every morning and 6 every night for the rest of my life. Some of those are supplements, but
Yeah.
still, let's do
Well,
it for insurance. So,
hey.
so a lot of things happen. It's like the Yo-Yo album itself, the second album. We were recording it at the time, and at the time all this happened, and I basically wrote everything out. Says, okay, if I drop dead tomorrow, Cliff, this is how you finish this and get it out. We went through the whole thing, and I don't have kids and I'm single, so worrying about a will really wasn't all that important. But it's amazing how things like that happen. It's like, and I realized it wasn't necessarily that I wanted to make sure that this person got this and this person got this much money or anything. It's all the people I wanted to make sure didn't get anything.
There you go. Including the state.
That too.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. I didn't do Rise and Shine tonight, but Rise and Shine is a song that basically is about that waking up every morning, looking out the window, and you don't care what it's doing out there. If it's raining, if it's sunshine, if it's firestorm, you're alive. So that really,
That's
So
right. Gives you
every
new
day is a
perspective.
celebration, and that's sort of the way I started looking at things 2 years ago. And fortunately, we were selling our company, and I was able to back out of that gracefully and profitably, so I can actually afford to do this.
Great.
And because we know how much money there is in songwriting.
The dozens of dollars.
Yes.
Dozens. Just, plus tips.
Now, you're still based in Fort Worth.
Yes, for now.
Yeah.
We'll see. I have no particular ties other than I've always liked Fort Worth. I love Fort Worth, in
Yeah.
fact.
It's
But
Texas. It's really
that
Texas.
it is.
Yes.
You know, let's back up for those of people that don't know you.
No.
What I'd like to do is kind of go way back and let's tell everybody where you were born and raised and kind of what got you in the music business and take us up to the point where Helen started with you. Give us a Monarch's Note version of it.
Okay, I do the Cliff's Note version myself.
Well, the Monarch Cliff, yeah, he was a famous poet from Waxahachie at one time.
Oh, okay.
You're so full of crap.
That too. I grew up in Detroit.
Michigan or Texas? Okay, Michigan.
Michigan.
Randy,
There is Texas. Now.
I know right where it is. It's not too far from Atlanta
That's true. And Rome.
and Paris.
And Earth.
How original of Texas.
Yes, we can't miss anything. Got Mars and Venus.
Go down the other way, we can go to Italy.
That's right. Or Italy is the
Italy, yeah. Italy, y'all.
Okay, let the man talk.
You go to Idaho, and they have a place called Moscow.
That's
Don't
true.
you call it Moscow. It's
That's
Moscow. There's a difference. I played there. Learned that the hard way. Hi, I'm so glad to be in Moscow. 7 people. Hey!
It's like saying Waxahachie, yes. Yeah.
Yes. Well. But anyway, grew up in Detroit, Michigan. And first got interested in music, I was always interested. From my earliest memories are all musical, and always wanted to play guitar. Parents wanted me to play first accordion, then the organ, whatever they could rent. And I kept saying, I want to play guitar. And eventually, Grandma says, I'll rent you a guitar. And she did. And one thing led to another. And well, here we are. But I think you want me to hit a couple of those career highlights.
Yeah.
Like when I was still in high school, and I lied to my parents and told them I was going to Florida for Easter break. And I instead went to New York, and I auditioned and got second chair lead guitar in Jesus Christ Superstar World Tour right out of high school.
Cool.
I can't believe this. To this day, I still go. I feel like Marv Throneberry. Remember him? It's like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Had some good leads
So
in there.
basically, you had to tell your parents, I lied, but.
Yeah. And on top of that, no, I'm not going to college. That didn't go over real well. But finally, everybody got okay with it. And I did that. I worked backing up several name artists, things like that. Did little studio work for General Motors and people like that, and also a little studio work even for Motown. They didn't have any acoustic guitar players, so. But I played both electric and acoustic back in those days. I keep looking at this guitar down here.
It makes you want to pick the rug up.
Well, it's just. I think the tonality on the second string is going to be a little off. So,
It's made in China.
but
David's.
and then I started going more into acoustic music than anything else, and through a friend that I was performing with, I met somebody, and I ended up backing up Gordon Lightfoot for a couple of years, and went all over the place, all over the world. And that was like twice I did the whole world tour thing. Then I met somebody and decided to move back home. I don't know where she is anymore. But that's okay. She's good.
So you went from that into somehow you got into the corporate world.
Well, I'd gotten into managing other artists and managing entertainment for restaurants and clubs and things like that. So I got a computer to help me do that, and I found out there was no software to help you do that. And thanks to a friend, he said, well, you could write your own. You're pretty smart. And that led to me learning how to program. And I ended up as a self-taught programmer, and then I ended up being a hired gun programmer. Then I went into it full time, and I sort of let music go to sleep for a while. And in 2000, actually 1999, a friend of mine and I formed a company called Digital Alchemy, and that provided services for hotels and resorts all over the world. I can say Rosewood hotels, many Hard Rock hotels, many Best Western, like thousands of hotels. So you'd recognize many of the names. And then just about the same time as I'm going through my whole heart trouble in March of 2018, our company was acquired by a multinational, which was planned. That's one of the things we were working on. And so as I was recovering and so on, I stayed working for Travel Click and stayed on for 15 months with them, helping just with the transition and doing the brain drain. I know where all the bodies are buried kind of thing. And last June, I said, that's it. I'm done. I quit. It was all planned. Very amicable. They still consult once in a while with me. But now I can do this. In between, I did so many different things musically back in the day. I mean, my last gig was 2 years solid every Friday and Saturday at Billy Bob's Texas in Fort Worth. So, and I didn't leave anything behind when I left, and I really didn't think I'd ever come back to it. But one day, I did. And so
I remember you coming over here and you and I having a real serious conversation one day about kind of where you were going to go, and you called me, and I didn't know you, and we sat down and been friends ever since, and just heard your life story, and thought it was not only fascinating but inspiring. Because you've done a lot of the things people would like to have on their resume, which is really unique in a lot of ways. So.
Thanks. It's kind of funny because in many ways it's like I never asked for a job in my life. Somebody says, "Would you like to do this?" Okay, fine. And so I've been lucky in that way. But you know what they say, luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
But, you know, at some place in there, you decided you were going to create music, too. And you were going to write songs. And that was shortly before you and I met, not too long before you and I met.
Well, I had done some of that way back when, but not nearly. Current. I really wanted to. And one of the things was, coming here to this place and to a few other things and being in a songwriter's environment.
Right. Fort Worth Songwriters, you're part of that.
That was a part of it.
We've been a part of that for a lot of years. So I understand.
And since then, and since even before I officially retired, as you know, I've been going on the road. I don't go on the road all the time. I go on the road 2 weeks every other month or so.
When you want to.
Pretty much. We'll see how things fall, and I spent 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks, going up the Pacific Northwest and back, but I'm also making stops in Denver and Boulder and Colorado Springs and Billings, Montana.
And making it easier the next time you go back.
That's the key. So. And, well, the cool thing is that I did all these things, and I have everyone I've reached out to since that I did. A couple of them I didn't call back, but I'm rebooked for. I'll be in Colorado in June, in fact, doing 5 different dates. And then a couple new ones, some house concerts and so on. But doing house concerts and doing listening rooms like this and so on. And I also spend a lot of time, and it kind of surprises me, I don't know why. I spent a lot of time in Virginia and Maryland and the Carolinas. There's a lot of listening rooms and so on there. And one of these days I'm going to introduce you my friend Bob Schmucker, who is a director of the 3rd Street Coffee House, which is kind of like Uncle Calvin's all these years. But they do a great job there.
It's funny how it seems like in every area of the country there's a certain place, like Artichoke is in Portland or Eddie's Attic in Atlanta, it's just that's the songwriter's place that they kind of, the Mucky Duck in Houston and Anderson Fair and places like that. And like you said, Uncle Calvin's opening bell. For a long time, it seems like they were, and then back in the day, like the Rubicon and places like that. So yeah, it's neat to see all the venues, and what's really interesting to me is to watch you conquer some of these because. You were a little tentative when you and I first talked. You were trying to decide.
Used to it.
You just get back into it.
You were trying to decide if you do. I think one of the questions you asked me, maybe without asking me, is, do I belong in this songwriters community?
Yeah.
And I told you real fast you did.
Yeah, well, I've been accused of being too self-confident at times, but trust me, I take a look at things very seriously. And I'll tell you, you start a business. You learn to look at things very, very realistically, whether you like it or not. But I'm saying, okay, no, I think this is a good song, and I think this is nice, and I think I can sing okay, and I can play this, and so on. But that's me, and I've been gone 20 years. And so I'm coming back and I'm doing things that are pretty much in the style I did way back when, to a certain degree. And there's only so much you can change on that. Now, I can modernize to a certain extent, but, I'm not going to get up here and do a rap. It's just not going to work.
No, it's not you.
Please don't.
Yeah. No. But having to be yourself and to make that work within the environment, and not just here, but 25 different rooms like this around the country. Then you have to get to all those rooms, and you have to convince them to book you.
Well, Helen and I believed in you since
Absolutely,
we met
you
you,
did.
and believed in what you're doing and the effort you're giving. And I said it in the earlier part of the show, but it's very important to support other songwriters, and Wayne Willingham does that. That's a really important thing. And I would tell other songwriters, get out of your house, get out and go listen to the competition. Because those places that we talked about out there, those great venues, somebody is going to play those venues. It can be you, or it can be somebody else, but you got to be willing to step up and compete for those jobs.
And you learn. You're constantly learning from others.
And it's funny because you can think of them as competition, and that's part of it, of course. But I tend to, and one of the reasons that I feel that I can be supportive of others to the degree that I am, because how many times have you seen me come down here for a show? Because I know this guy, I know these people. You know, I want
Or
to be
because
there.
I sent you a thing and said you need to come down here and see.
Yes, Mom. But the thing is, rather than competition in a way, you said competition, and I understand that, but part of me said colleague.
Well, we've always looked at it in the music room as a place for conjunction, for us to come together.
Yep.
But the competition is for the jobs.
Yep, true.
Whether you like it, you can call it peanut butter. It's still going to be a competition for those jobs. You got X amount of jobs out there, X amount of house concerts, listening rooms, whatever. And the people who go out there and aggressively go after those things, like Wayne Willingham, he went out and sought those jobs. And I'm using him as an example in talking to young songwriters that might be listening to this. Get off your ass and get out there and do it. Quit talking about it. Just do it.
I one time told somebody, this was in my...
I didn't mean to look at you when I said that.
As long as I'm not in trouble on it.
Leave her alone, Randy.
I didn't.
I said to, and it was in my corporate role, and being one of the owners of the company and so on. Of course, sometimes you get people asking you for advice, asking you for counsel, and so on. And I said, and I'm going to try. I'll get this pretty close, if not verbatim, because this was a young lady who had talents that went in different directions, not necessarily in the corporate world that she was working in. And she said, "I just don't know what to do. Every night I sit there and I think about it." I said, "Stop. Nobody ever changed their life waiting on the couch for a knock on the door. Go get what it is. If you don't know what it is, it's not in your house. Go out and find it." Right.
Yeah.
So
get after it.
Saying the same thing over and over.
Helen, I don't know about you, but I've thoroughly enjoyed this guy coming back. And
yes, and I am looking forward to him coming back on May 23rd to do that studio concert.
With Susie and Randall. And
Shotgun Josephine.
Shotgun Josephine. And that's going to be fun. We'll probably have a whole lot of folks in the house that night.
I'm hoping.
I expect a room full.
I do too.
What do you think?
I do too.
We'll have to crank up the air conditioners that night.
We will. In fact, I turned it on a little bit while ago when I realized it was heating up in here.
We just
thanks
like
for
to
coming,
see you
man.
sweat.
My pleasure.
Thanks for coming back over here, and I look forward to you coming back again and again and again.
I appreciate everything you do for all of us.
Well, we do everything that we can.
Yes, you do.
That's because we are in the music room.
I want to. Before I know we're wrapping things up, but I want to make sure that I've given enough props to my friend Cliff. I was gonna even get him up here and ask him some questions, but I won't do that to him. But I want to tell you that a lot of the things that I'm able to accomplish are because this guy can almost read my mind.
Wow.
And that helps so much. He understands what it is I'm trying to do. And I guess, would you say, Cliff, you get it? Your dad got it?
Both my parents, really.
It's just, it's nice when you make that connection.
Yeah, it is.
And the name of your studios? Yeah.
Well,
we don't really have one.
Okay.
No name studio.
It's Bethesda Community Church is where the studio is.
Okay, cool.
But he's able to do some independent contracting in there.
Yes.
And And
See, you got the Lord behind you and everything. That's good.
yeah, I need all the help I can get.
We all do.
It's like when all this came up, I said, "Really? I just sold the company, and now this." So, but
You're here.
Well, you know,
Got a
we'll be
pulse.
praying for you. That's good. As my mother always said, you know, you need the prayers and we need the practice. So that's good. We are very thankful for you being here. And as Helen said a while ago, you're in the music room.